Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. Created by speakers, for speakers. It's your fast track to sharper skills, bigger impact, and a smarter speaking business. Subscribe and download using the link below. And step into the spotlight.
Hello and welcome to Speakernomics, the National Speakers Association's podcast, here to help speakers elevate excellence by sharing expertise and challenging one another to improve. I am Ann Bonney, and I am lucky enough because I get to be one of your 2026 Speakernomics hosts, and I get to interview our amazing colleagues. And today, I am lucky enough to be interviewing another one of your 2026 Influence Main Stage speakers, CSP CPAE Marilyn Sherman, who will be taking part in a panel of four amazing Hall of Famers on the main stage in July in Austin. Now, Marilyn is a business keynote speaker who has spent her career inspiring people from around the world, Fortune 500 companies, international universities, and everybody in between. Her signature message challenges audiences to stop settling for the balcony or the general admission and instead claim their front row seat at work and in life. Marilyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Ann. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm excited because you're going to be taking part in a Hall of Famer panel at Influence. What are you all talking about?
Well, every year Influence has a section just for CPAEs, and it's sort of behind the curtain of keynote speakers, Hall of Fame speakers. And so this year is no different, except for what I put together is a panel. There will be four of us delivering a piece of what we do to our customers. So it won't be us completely saying, well, this is how I do what I do. It will be all of us coming out and doing what we do. And as attendee at Influence for years and years and years, I always love to see what speakers do for their customers as opposed to talking about what and how they do it. So that's why I put together four different keynote speakers, four different Hall of Fame speakers, four different styles, so that the audience can see what those styles are. But we have one intention, and that is to make an impact and connect with our audiences.
I love that. I love it. And it's great. And I love that you've put together four very different people, because one of the things, anytime a new speaker ever talks to me, I say, hey, look, there's about 1 million ways to do this business.
Exactly.
And 1 million ways to reach an audience. So That'll be really, really exciting. And it's Tim Gard, Terry Shodine.
Yeah. Vince Pacente and me.
And you. Awesome. That's going to be so exciting.
Mm-hmm. And we're having a lot of fun planning it too, because we're coming together and we're practicing our what we're doing for NSA and getting to know each other. We're having a lot of fun, and our whole intention is to be of value to the audience at Influence.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I love about NSA is the people and the connections. And by participating, like you and I are doing right now, we get, you deepen those connections a lot more. So
yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That's super cool. And it's super cool to hear that, you and all the Hall of Famers aren't like having dinner every Tuesday night and already know each other really well and are passing around the gigs that none of us are getting. So it's very encouraging. I'm just teasing.
Although membership in NSA does have its perks and privileges, because when I get to know people, the more I get to know people and what their message is and what the value is that they add to their audiences, I'm much more likely to refer them to my customers who are not going to hire me for keynoting their next event. So I have received referrals and I have given referrals. That is like the spirit of CAVA, alive and well at NSA.
And that is exactly, I have a list. Depending on what they want, energy, topic, whatever, I just copy and paste and send it to people of those speakers we know are amazing. And these days, it's especially important because trust is low with the meeting planners, because there's a lot of people going out there and not nailing it on stage.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd love today to talk a little bit about the CPAE. For those of us who don't have it, it's just one of those mysterious, I'd love to be a Hall of Famer someday. So I was like, let me get the inside scoop. So talk to me a little bit about the CPAE. Why do you think it exists, and how does it serve the meeting and events industry?
Well, it really showcases the people who are at the top of their game, that they are the top professionals, that they run a successful business, that they are ethical on and off stage. They have amazing delivery, they have unique content. So all of that, it shows the best of the best in class. And we are an industry like any other industry. So we celebrate the best in class. And that's what the CPAE Hall of Fame does.
I love it. And what benefit, you're 8 years in, right? You were awarded in 2018?
Yes, yes.
So what benefits have you received specifically in your own business and in life, you know?
Well, in business, it's nice to lead with that I'm in the Hall of Fame, because it establishes credibility that I have been in the business a long time and I have proven myself as a professional keynote speaker. So that I lead with that, with my marketing material, my website, my LinkedIn. So it establishes that credibility with bureau partners, with meeting planners, and also with other speakers as well. So that's helped professionally, and it's in my introduction video for every keynote I do. So I'm very, very proud of it. So I lead with it. Personally, what's very interesting that happened after I received my CPAE, I stopped feeling like I had to prove myself. Does that make sense? It's like I've worked really, really, really hard to be in this business. I've been speaking full-time professionally since 1993. And so I am a motivational speaker. I talk about living life in the front row and having a belief system and a mindset of success. So in my heart of hearts, I knew and believed that one day I would be in the Hall of Fame. I just knew that. That was my belief system. I just didn't know when that would happen. And so I never, some people long for it. Some people panic. Some people get anxious every year. I was never like that. I had sort of a calm assurance that sure, eventually, I see these people get inducted. I'm at that level as well. So I know one day that was just my belief system, my positive intent. So I practice what I preach. So I never freaked out about it and I never was anxious about it. But when I did get it, I had a sense of calm, like, wow, I don't have to prove myself to anyone. And so it was, I'll just give you a side note. I've been in NSA for over 30 years. And for many of those years, I was a volunteer. I was a backstage speaker concierge for several years. I did every volunteer role imaginable. In fact, I did that simultaneously running my speaking business. But one time, somebody came up to me and they saw how much I volunteered and they said, wow, I thought you were NSA staff. And I thought, whoa, that's not good. So it was almost like part of me was like, no, I'm a keynote speaker. No, really, I am. And so there was a little voice in me that wanted to prove my worth as a keynote speaker. So once I was inducted into the Hall of Fame, I felt like finally they see me, they see my value, they see my worth, and they see me as a professional keynote speaker.
Yeah. Well, and that was 25 years from when you started,
Exactly.
if I'm doing the math right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking if you've run a full-time business for 25 years, you
Yeah.
absolutely earned that.
Yeah.
And that's, I always talk about borrowed belief, when you're not confident about what you're doing, it's that moment of saying somebody thought this was a good idea. But when somebody awards you the CPAE, and you can call yourself Hall of Famer, I think you're good.
Yeah, it's an honor, especially
That's
since
awesome.
it is a committee of your peers and voted on by your peers. So it is an absolute honor and I cherish it. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And if so, what are and go back to my earlier point, there are a million ways to run a speaking business.
Right.
But as you think about the things you did over that 25 years to improve your craft, to improve your business, to, earn that honor, what are some of the things that stick out that you recommend to newer speakers that are looking to gain excellence? And I'm not going to say looking to become a Hall of Famer, because I think your calm approach was great. You wanted to be great at it and thus earned that through the actions. What are the things that stick out that you recommend people do to continue to build that excellence?
Well, always be learning on how to improve your craft. That's what's so great about going to Influence every year. And I have not missed a convention in 32 years, I think. My first convention, I was hooked. So every single year I go and I'm open-minded and I learn and I watch and I'm always asking, what can I do to improve my craft? So always be open to learning, open to feedback, coaching, be open to coaching, and just continue to be seen. There was a speaker recently that came to Las Vegas and literally said, I want to eventually be in the Hall of Fame. Can you come see me speak and give me some feedback? So I applauded this person because the more you are seen, the more people will talk about you, and that can only help, especially if you're really good. It won't help you if you're not really good, but you know what I mean? So continually work on your craft to become better and better at what you do, and continue to make an impact with your audiences. Continue to show social proof that your audiences hire you again and again. I also got some feedback before I was a Hall of Famer. I got some feedback from a CPAE who said, Marilyn, we don't give that honor to people who we think will one day earn it. We watch people who already are doing it, and then we give them the award. And that actually shifted my mindset. So I started to ask, well, how would a Hall of Fame person run their business? How would a Hall of Fame speaker act right now? And so I acted as if I was already in the Hall of Fame, and then that mindset shift helped me. And then within the next 8 months, I was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Nice. That's so exciting. Yeah. Well, and it's that what I learned early on was shifting the spotlight from me to my audience and say, what can I do to make sure they walk away with something of value here? And I think that you talked about social proof, more and more important these days, as the trust from meeting planners to speakers they've never heard of is going down, down, down.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some of the changes that you've observed, especially in the last 5 or 10 years? After 25 years, I'm sure you've seen a ton of change, but what are some of the more recent changes that you've adapted to as you've continued your search for excellence?
It changes for me or changes for the people that are inducted into the Hall of Fame?
No, I'm sorry. Changes for your audience so that you could continue to dial in what they needed as you continue to improve your own business.
Well, they just need a connection more than anything ever before. And so I am constantly learning about my audiences so that I can walk on stage and be confident that what I am delivering is going to have an immediate connection with the audience and an immediate impact. So I think the need for connection, it's always been there, but it's higher now than ever before.
Which is probably why so many meeting planners are asking for interaction.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a lecture of me talking at you. Right. It's let's have a conversation here.
Right.
I love that. Is there anything that you're like, okay, if you ever want to be in the Hall of Fame, don't do this?
Well,
are there any of those?
The one thing that I hear over and over again is don't lobby for it. I focus on being the best possible speaker, consultant, trainer, facilitator that you can possibly be. And then make yourself known, because the committee that chooses the final class, that conversation is based on what was delivered in terms of the videos that were submitted, but also if you've seen that person live, you can attest to that person. You can I don't want to say lobby for that person, but you have credibility when you're discussing that person's induction. So the more people see you speak, that's always good. And, but yeah, make yourself known and continue to put yourself out there.
Nice. And do you think participation in, I mean, obviously this is a stupid question because it allows you to be seen, but participation at NSA helps because people know.
I'm absolutely convinced. I mean, one year when I was a volunteer working backstage, I literally had a clipboard of all the CPAEs in order of the year that they were inducted. And all the CPAEs were backstage, and it was my job to put them in that order. And so I'm a new speaker, and I'm like in awe of all of these people who I one day want to be like, and I'm literally telling them where to go. And I got to know people literally that night that have become friends for the longest time. So volunteering at NSA for me helped me get my foot in the door of people knowing who I was. And then I believe that helped me just to, I mean, it is not based on volunteer service at all. I'm just saying it was an added value for me because at the beginning, that's how people got to know who I was. And then that helped me with my reputation in the industry. And that helped, solidify my brand about living and leading from the front row. People got to know that. And so they knew my unique message. So that only helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. So just shifting gears a little bit, your front row, live your life from the front row messaging. How long have you had that? This is one of the things I see new speaker, and I at 10 years in, I'm kind of like, well, do I need to change it now? Should I shift? We're all thinking about the brand and the ethos and the message.
Sure.
How long have you been speaking about that specifically? Well, that's been your thing.
My first book was Whose Comfort Zone Are You In, which was my keynote topic, and that was in 1998. And then my clients had already hired me for that, and they wanted to bring me back. And they said, well, what else do you have? And so I started to really look at what do I truly believe in, what is my messaging, and I got coaching around it. And as a result, Front Row emerged from it. So I literally wrote the book on why settle for the balcony, how to get a front row seat in life in 2005. And so I started speaking on it before then, but the book was written in 2005. And now I have a new book coming out called Front Row Success, How to Live and Lead from the Best Seat in the House. So I am sort of revising it, updating it, adding more stories that as my keynote has evolved, now the book has evolved as well. So I've been speaking on it for a really long time.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds, I mean, if the math is right, it's over 20 years. It's
awesome. Over 20 years I've been speaking about how to get a front row seat in life.
And you're known for that. It sounds like you live that.
Yes. So, I try to live it every day. And recently another Hall of Fame speaker said, Marilyn, the front row, I never sit in the front row. And I said, well, you can take me literally by literally having a seat at the table, a seat in the front row at a conference or convention, or you can take me figuratively speaking, where you get to say it doesn't get any better than this. And so with the right attitude and the right mindset, any seat that you're in can be a front row seat.
That's the spirit of the front row.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. When's the new book coming out?
I'm just going through edits right now, so I'll physically have a copy in hand at Influence.
Oh, very exciting.
You heard it here first.
You're right. How did you pick the blurb that you're doing at Influence? As you each four are doing a piece of your keynote, how did you pick which one to do?
You mean which story we're...
Yeah.
Well, we only have a limited amount of time, so it's a work in progress because we want to showcase what we do for our clients. So we want to put our best story forward. So the story I'm choosing is all about how I had that epiphany that I was tired of a balcony seat. I was done. I was tired of settling. And it was like a moment in my life where I realized there's got to be something better than this. Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, the whole brand emerged. So it's a fun story. It's an epiphany story. It's a inspiring story. So that's how I came up with that one.
And it's probably one of those stories that that results in people in the audience going, I feel like she was talking directly to me.
Well, that's the most common comment I get after I'm done keynoting. In fact, I did like 4 keynotes in 10 days, and it couldn't have been more different, from manufacturing to university to leadership. I mean, it was like the audiences were very different. And every single one of them, someone came up to me and said, wow, I really feel like you were speaking just to me. And that's a shift in my intention, because when I was a young speaker, I wanted them to say, you're the best speaker I've ever heard. And that's not what I want. I want my intention for them to say at the end, wow, you really get me. I felt I needed to hear this message today. Thank you, because you were speaking directly to me today.
That's awesome. And that's the hope that we all, well, July 25th through 27th in Austin, Texas.
Yes.
Marilyn and other Hall of Famers going to be on the stage giving you the secrets to connecting with the audiences. Marilyn, thank you so much for your time today.
Well, my pleasure, and I can't wait to see you at another event. Influence is going to be off the charts. I can't wait to see everybody in Austin. Come find me. I'll be in the front row.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Speakernomics. If you want more bookings, credibility, and connections, your NSA community is waiting for you. Join NSA today. Click the link below and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and download this podcast wherever you listen.